All right, YouTube, this is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit with another video. This is a video I'm reacting to pertaining to Marc Lamont Hill. Marc Lamont Hill, he comes off to the community as this super intellectual, progressive black man. He comes out in front of black people and he's always trying to lead you to something. You know what I mean? He wants you to support Palestine. He wants you to believe that he's this intelligent person. But I'm going to show you something. And I want you to think about him and look at what he says. When Candace Owens asks him point blank one question: can a man have a baby? Watch what he says. This for fair use of the 1976 Copyright Act for commentary, educational purposes. Watch this.
Today, where Candace Owens is just 5 steps ahead the whole time. She does not let him get away with anything and shines the light of logic right in his face, and it burns. So let's get into the first part about gender pronouns, see what you pick up in regards to logical flaws, and then I'll check in after.
But I wanted to ask you, I grew up in a family where one of my uncles had severe mental disorders and thought he was Indian from a tribe or something, kind of got it because he was in solitary confinement for too long and he actually went crazy in prison. So I've always been sensitive to people that have, mental disorders. But when you start saying in society that you now have to pretend that Candace's uncle is an Indian, and if you don't, acknowledge him as Pocahontas, then you're a bigot, that's wrong. Now you're putting the pressure on me to not just be, accepting of this, but now to play the crazy game and to say, if you mispronounce and you don't call him Chief Pocahontas, then you're a bigot. Yeah. I don't play that game. I'm going to live in reality. You cannot live in reality. You can say how you feel. You can say what you think you see. You can say that you think that, we're on Mars right now, but I'm not going to pretend that I see Mars because it makes you more comfortable.
One, this isn't a case of someone thinking there's something that they're not. What people are saying is that there is a misalignment between my sex and my gender.
Disorder.
That's
the point. My mind and my body don't match. That's a disorder.
That doesn't make it a disorder. It just means that the world may be more diverse than we've previously understood it to be, whether we see it in plants, whether we see it in animals. There's all kinds of complexity. And we look in history. I mean, even we go back to the continent of Africa.
This is another Negro using word salad to push an agenda that he really don't believe himself. This is what makes him so disingenuous. He doesn't believe this himself. He knows that a man cannot give birth. But look at how he tries to rationalize his argument. I mean, he's not to be trusted. This guy's a scammer. For real.
Look in Asia, there's all kinds of examples of people who have complicated gender performances and complicated understandings of gender, and how we perform gender can be different. Mm-hmm. But I guess my question for you would be, why, if someone identifies as, particularly in someone who you engage with, say it's a colleague at work or whomever, a family member, whomever, if they say, look, I prefer to be called she and her, and I no longer want to be identified by this name, why not just honor that?
If you changed your name, I will honor it.
But why not? I mean, I'm sure you call people by nicknames, dog. I'm sure you grew up in a black neighborhood, right? Mm-hmm. I know you know somebody named Peanut, right?
Yeah.
Right. You don't say, well, that's not your legal name. Your mama named Joe. I'm gonna call you Joe.
No, I'm saying a name is one thing, but if you're asking me to change pronouns, I'm not going to do that because these are established pronouns. You're asking me to now change the English language, right? We know why we call female she, her, girl, woman. Okay, these are words that have meanings. Words that have meaning. So this is a book, right? So could you call this is a book and this is a mug? Could you call this a book and call this a mug? Yes, you could do that if you want to change it, but words have meanings, right? So now if I switch it and you say, well, this mug wants to be called a book, it's a mug. It's just a mug. This is the word we've established for mugs. This is the word we established for books. So you're asking me to change the actual meaning of words to accommodate you. I'm not going to do that.
No.
I'm not going to do that. It is. Because not only is it a request, you can now get in trouble in certain states
that's not
for misgendering someone.
The request of the trans community is not that I'm actually a man, but I want you to pretend I'm a woman. The argument of the trans community, which I agree with, is no, I am a woman. And so I want you to revert me.
But you're not a woman. So that's the problem. So this is what I say is now you've asked me to take on your mental disorder, right? So I am okay with the fact the argument from my uncle who thinks he's a Native American from a certain tribe is that this is what he thinks. He thinks, but he's not. Okay, so I'm not. Then to say to me that argument is valid because he thinks it. No, just because you think something doesn't make it real. Okay,
but that's exactly what gender is. Gender is exactly about an experience and a performance and a social construct.
It's not a social construct. Stop saying a social construct. To say that words don't have meaning and they're socially constructed means nothing. And I'll tell you why.
They are.
But you say that, but then
This wasn't always a book.
Okay,
this could be called mug.
So then you know what it is? Our entire discussion about Black America meant nothing. There's no such thing as racial injustice. See what I did there? Because Black is a social construct.
Yeah, but we live in a social reality. So within that social reality,
it can't be both, Mark. So you either think that the gender wage gap is BS, that feminism is wrong, and that racial disparities are all BS because everything's a social construct. You're either going to go full postmodernist and say nothing is real and it's all made up, or you're going to acknowledge that there are some hard, concrete truths. If there are hard, concrete truths, you and I are Black. Okay, that's not going to change because we wake up and we decide, you know what, today I'm white and it's just how I feel, and today I'm Chinese. No. You and I are Black, okay? We are acknowledged as Black people. We're sitting down as Black people. I am a woman. You are a man, okay? Now, if I want to wake up tomorrow and say I'm a man, you want to say you're a woman and we want to play the crazy game, we can do that. To then say all of society now is to pretend that it was all a social, no, it was a social contract. You were born a male. I was born a female.
Yes, that's a fact.
We are Black.
So here we have the problem with intellectuals, guys. The worst of them will take very, very simple concepts and they will obfuscate them and pollute them, committing intellectual terrorism to try and make these ideas actually seem really complicated and to make themselves seem really smart. Whereas actual smart people will take very complicated ideas and simplify them so that anybody can kind of understand it. Jordan Peterson does this super well. And we've just seen Marc Lamont Hill committing this same intellectual crime here and pretending that the idea that men are men and women are women is some sort of profoundly nuanced conversation.
Gender is exactly about an experience and a performance and a social construct.
It's not.
And also pretending that there is a case to be made that we should just do away with the truth to accommodate for a mental disorder. And I actually don't dislike Mark as a commentator. Despite a few pretty goofy takes over the years, I actually respect the guy. But what I would say here is that people on the left who are political social commentators tend to get caught in the trap of audience capture when it comes to this particular topic. And it's because the issue of trans and LGBTQ is such an emotionally heated one, and so many people have been cancelled and cast aside and ostracized by the left for not towing the line with this issue. And then you get individuals like Mark, and Neil deGrasse Tyson is another good example of this, who try and intellectualize it and who try and create an argument for this out of thin air, even though they're not stupid people and they know that what they are saying is bullshit. And what's the best and most useful sleight of hand when it comes to trying to intellectualize this topic from the left? Invoke postmodernist logic. The old everything is just a social construct at the end of the day, and there are infinite ways to interpret absolutely everything. So who are you to say what the truth is? And I think the world is just more diverse and nuanced than we can understand.
It just means that the world may be more diverse than we've previously understood it to be.
But despite this sophistry, guys, Candace Owens is always a few steps ahead. She's seen this before, and she is able to disarm a crook in this situation. And the reason why she's able to do that is because she stays well informed. And since this gender madness was introduced into our culture 5 minutes ago, the ripple effects of it have been enormous on the truth and of the retelling of history. I mean, check out this story that I stumbled across on Ground News just today. Roman emperor was trans woman, declares museum.
You can have children. You have a uterus. When you are a male, you are born with a penis. You get a woman pregnant. These words have real meanings. We cannot suddenly get into society where there are no truths.
So to acknowledge a social construct does not mean that we ignore biology, and it doesn't mean that we don't have.
Can men get pregnant?
Depends.
HitPaw Video Enhancer is an AI video quality enhancer. You can easily convert.
This is Marc Lamont Hill. And he's this commentator that comes off so intelligent. He's sitting up there playing to the camera, playing to the situation. He knows good and well that a biological man, a man cannot get pregnant. A man cannot give birth. He's playing this game, but this is the same person that tries to give you political advice and social advice. See, we exposing these Democratic shields, you know what I mean? And these tools of the Democrats that undermine black society.
I know.
What does it depend on?
I know trans men that can get pregnant.
That means it's a woman. Only one sex can get pregnant.
That's a circular argument. That's
not a circular argument. Yeah. It's proving my thing. There is a truth, a concrete truth. You have to be born with a uterus to have a baby. Only women can get pregnant. The fact that we've arrived in a society,
right? That's the part I'm disagreeing with. That's the part I'm disagreeing with.
There's nothing to disagree with it. These are facts. So you can say that this person who is pregnant identifies as a man. That person was born a woman. I can tell you that every single time because only women can have sex because there are concrete truths about life.
Have babies.
Can have babies, pardon. And that is a hard truth about life. You cannot make that go away because you want to call a man, somebody who has a beard and dresses like a dude, a woman. Only if it's pregnant, I can tell you exactly what it is. It's a woman.
So I'll give you, let's go back to the social construct thing because then it'll answer the thing you just said. I'm not ignoring what you just said. I want to tie it together. So the idea of, my point was that a social construct doesn't ignore physical realities, right? The social construct is about how we as a society make sense of those physical realities, right? So, for example, you said we're black, sure, right? I'm trying to think of you pick a light-skinned black person, right? They're black, right? We'd agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go to the Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the PR. Let's go to Puerto Rico. Let's go to Jordan. Let's go to Iraq. Let's go to Sudan. Let's go to Ghana, right? And let's go to South Africa.
2020 that is still so relevant today, where Candace Owens is just.
Let's go to the Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the PR. Let's go to Puerto Rico. Let's go to.
The crazy part about it is he don't realize or even understand how delusional and disingenuous he is. He thinks, see, you know what? A lot of these intellectuals, they have a tendency to think that everybody is stupid because they have made so much money with their word salad chasing the bag. He's actually debating her about who can give birth. But then he'll come on and get on his show and tell you about Pan-Africanism and standing with Palestine and doing this and doing that. And he can't even say out his mouth that the only people that can have babies and give birth are women. These are the people that want to influence black people. He's doing all of this for a simple question that you can ask a baby, a kid, not a baby, but you can ask a kid who can have a baby. This is a grown man that's been leading or trying to lead the forefront of wokeism or whatever it is. But look how he is actually handling this simple question.
To Jordan, let's go to Iraq, let's go to Sudan, let's go to Ghana, right? And let's go to South Africa. I'm picking these places very specifically because they have different racial logics and racial paradigms. And what it means to be black here, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a universal blackness, right? That in Dominican, there might be 5 different other racial categories, right? And there are some light-skinned black folk here who, when they go to Ghana, get basically seen as white, right? Because of how we socially construct it. Doesn't mean my biology changed. Doesn't mean my physical reality changed, but how society engages this stuff is what makes it a social construct. So similarly, when it comes to, so I'm not ignoring the reality.
This guy is idiotic and pitiful. He's idiotic and pitiful. And he expects that we're going to buy off into all his word salad and talking about social construct. Everybody knows that men don't have periods and can't give birth. Men don't have uteruses, ovaries, or none of the equipment that it takes to carry a baby. But instead of him saying that, he's trying to come off intelligent, but he looks like a fool.
Of race, so with race and racism in America, and then I'm going to take it back to the gender thing. When it comes to race and racism in America, it's, yes, biologically we're all the same, right? Black people, white people, there's an infinitesimal difference between a black person and a white person in terms of our genetics, right? This is superficial stuff. But that's a biological reality, right? It's a biological fact.
First of all, genius, melanin is not superficial. That's a genetic and biological fact. That melanin is not superficial.
Right? Just like as biologically true as me being born with a penis, right?
Sure.
But the truth is, but the idea that there's social meanings attached to that blackness that make people fear me, or that make people think that that person's life is worth more because they're white or whatever. Those are social meanings that are arbitrary and different. So to acknowledge social constructs doesn't mean you ignore biological realities.
But you just did that when you said that men could give birth.
So similarly, what I'm saying is that I'm not denying the biological reality of maleness, of the genitalia where it's signed at birth and what we can do with those body parts. I'm not denying that. That's a biological reality. Again, the social meaning I'm attaching to it is what I'm saying is more complicated.
But it's not complicated. Can men give birth?
Guys, if you're enjoying these videos and if you think, wow, Rattlesnake working away during this holiday period, getting us the content that we hopefully enjoy, then don't forget to chuck a like on the video, help me get this far and wide, and also subscribe to the channel, the community. Got lots more from where this came from, even over this holiday period. Back to the video.
Sometimes. That's my answer. Yes.
And the answer that is crazy. And this is we cannot. It's just crazy. We cannot allow this to happen.
But you wouldn't say the definition of being a woman is the ability to give birth.
I'm not saying it, but only women can give birth is a factually true statement. Only women can give birth. There's only one type of human being.
Only people with uteruses and vaginas.
Yes,
and
can give birth. Only women can give birth. Men cannot give birth.
I'm not. And here's what I think we're talking past each other. What I'm saying is, I'm not disputing the fact that certain body parts yield certain kinds of possibilities, right? What I'm disagreeing with is the idea that that is the measure of whether or not you're a man or a woman in society.
Okay, but it has now come to a point where if you say that only women can give birth, you are called a bigot. That is crazy. That's nuts. So if you say, like J.K. Rowling did when she got canceled by the Harry Potter cast, that only women can menstruate, okay? Can men get their period? Can you help my audience? Can men get their period?
Some can.
Okay.
Yeah, trans men. There's some trans men who can.
So whether he knows it or not, and I'm pretty sure he would know this because he's not a stupid guy by any means, he has just completely exposed his own logic there, as well as the logic of pretty much all leftists surrounding this very topic. So on one hand, they will say, gender is different to sex, you big stupid head, and it's not sex that we're talking about, it's gender. They'll say that gender is any way that you present yourself to the world, and it's on a spectrum. And everybody falls within that spectrum, which, by the way, guys, is predicated upon biological sex, because at one end of the spectrum is male, and at the other end of the spectrum is female. So it's at least related to sex. But back to it. They'll say that one man might be more feminine in his appearance and might dress like a girl and might be more feminine in his temperament. So he falls on the feminine side of the spectrum, and we should be more tolerant and understanding if he wants to use she and her pronouns, which I can't help but bring up another internal contradiction in their logic. They try and say that there is no difference between men and women. They're just the same, and men can just wear a dress and compete in women's sports. But their whole entire ideology and worldview is based upon the idea of masculine feminine. But furthermore, you then ask them a question like Candace just asked Mark. Can men get pregnant? And the answer is yes, they can. Okay, so then if that's the case, then don't give us this gaslighting crap about, oh, it's just gender. We're not worried about biological sex. Because when you start to say that men can get pregnant, you're not talking about fashion or color coding or agreeableness anymore. You're talking about biological sex, which is an objective, established, observable, natural truth. And you want people to not only tolerate the lie, you want people to repeat the lie. And everybody knows it's a lie. That is sick. Like Candace said, you can't have it both ways, as much as some people would love to. And now on to the next part, where Mark has tried and failed with pulling a few arguments out, and now has to pull the "but you're mean" card out of his sleeve.
And again, I think it's okay to ask interesting questions. I think it's okay to have intellectual debates. But I don't think that we ever want to enter a space where we deny the humanity. And I'm not saying you are, but to deny the humanity or the experiences of other people.
Like I said, I'm was totally okay with trans until it became a demand. What you are denying is my ability to be an intelligent human being, right? You're denying my ability to talk about science and biology in a meaningful way. You are now making your existence is actually infringing on mine. Okay.
How so?
And because when you make it a requirement now that I have to pretend that men can give birth and men can menstruate and there needs to be tampons as the ACLU is fighting for and male restrooms, that if I don't see the reason, the importance of that, then I'm a bigot. I'm someone that doesn't accept. No. I accept you if you want to run around and you want to wear a dress and you want to call yourself Tiffany and you want to put a pillow in you. If you want, I don't need to know your name. It doesn't mean anything to me. You want to call? I'm not going to sit here and say I don't believe your name is Tiffany. You know, if a person comes up to me and they're in a dress and a skirt and they say my name's Tiffany. Okay, cool, Tiffany, cool, right? But when it becomes Candace is a bigot because she won't acknowledge that, you know, Tiffany the man got her period and can have a baby, I'm not playing that game. I will never.
So tomorrow, I come on your show tomorrow, and I have decided that, or a year from now, suddenly I have reimagined my identity, and I have recognized and affirmed my identity as a trans woman, and I no longer want to identify as Mark. I want to identify, as use your example, as.
Are y'all listening to him? This guy's a clown. He's a clown. If you go to the average trans woman and ask them, can they get pregnant and have a baby, they're going to look at you like you're crazy because they just told you they was a trans woman. See, it's time out for these Democratic shields. They just keep coming out and they just making themselves more and more ridiculous looking. And then now we supposed to go to his channel and listen to him and take advice from him when he can't even answer a simple question. Can men get pregnant? So now, since he can't figure that out in his head because it's a social construct, now we're supposed to think that he can figure out geopolitics. We're supposed to believe that he has enough sense to help people understand geopolitics. Marc Lamont Hill is pitiful. He playing a mind game with himself.
As Tiffany, you wouldn't be like, this book says Mark, you're Mark. You'd call me Tiffany.
I'd call you Tiffany, but I'm not going to call you she and her because that has real meaning, and I'm not going to play the game.
What's compromised by that is what I'm trying to understand.
My reality. You're now saying you've transformed your reality, and now I have to pretend that words have no meanings, and they do have meanings, right? So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to call you here. Hi, Tiff. How you doing, Tiff? Did you have a good day, Tiff? Great, Tiff. I'm not going to then say she. I'm not doing that. And if people cannot, if people demand,
but you won't misgender me either.
What? I'll just call you Tiffany.
But and if they say where'd Tiffany go, you're not gonna be like he just left. You'll say she just left.
I'll probably slip up once or twice. But
I'm not talking about mistakes, but I'm saying you wouldn't intentionally misgender me.
No, I wouldn't intentionally misgender you, but I don't want Tiffany in my bathroom. I don't want Tiffany in my
But you also don't want tampons in the other bathroom. That's what I don't get.
No, I don't care. I think it's stupid. I think it's foolish. I think it's dumb. But if that's really where guys want to go, do it. I don't care. It's not my business. It doesn't impact me. I don't have to go in the bathroom. But I don't want Tiffany in my bathroom.
So Candace nailed it with her response there, and it's one that we should all take note on, just in case you ever find yourself in this situation.
Shout out to Rattlesnake TV. Rattlesnake TV. I mean, this is what I've been talking about in my video. This is Marc Lamont Hill. And he comes off as this super intellectual. But you ask him the most basic question, and he can't figure it out because he's disingenuous. He knows that he's lying. He knows that he's lying. He's the same one to tell you about Pan-Africanism and standing with Palestine and all these different things that caused him to lose his job and have to be on YouTube. He had worked for other networks and was doing something, but his idiocy, his ability to not keep it real, got him right where he needs to be. You can't make this up, like Kevin Sanders used to say. Like, share, and subscribe. Keep your head on the swivel. This is Phil.